recording. And so greetings to all of you. Uh, you know, you know how we roll. And so I would need to be a bit quick on the start because as you can see in front of you, you have a 3-hour paper. So you're doing a 3-hour exam today. I'm just kidding. So we're going to try to cover this in less than an hour. So as you can see, there is certain section of this that I will need to go to the summary quickly because as you can see, it's a 3-hour paper, right? And we don't have the luxury of time here. But if we can more or less cover this paper, or the comprehension of this paper, the reading and the understanding of this paper in less than an hour. So 3 hour actually should be more than enough for you during your exam, right? So one of the things that I can maybe raise at this point is the fact that, as you can see, it's 150 marks. Depending on the paper, sometimes you get a paper that is 180 marks, which is more or less what they're doing is that they're dividing just the 180 by 3, which is 60 marks per hour. And that's quite clever, right? So 60 marks per hour, 60 times 3, which is 180. So basically what they're saying that you should be able to get 1 mark each minute. All right, but why am I raising this? Because timing is everything for the final exam, the written exam on campus, right? You had tasks that you took home. You had 24 hours to submit them. You have the luxury of time. I know you guys were not obviously working on those papers for 24 hours, but you had plenty of time. You could literally set more than 3 hours to complete the paper, right? When you're going to be sitting in a real world class exam, right? So you will need to take into account time. And what I say is be quick reading. So read clearly the question. And some of the questions, for example, when you read and you're not too sure, you can move to another question that you are sure, right? But just don't forget to put your the actual question number, as well as just numbering all your answers, right? So that it's clear. I can see that no, actually you started with question 5 or you started with question 3, right? So I hope that that makes sense, right? So, but the biggest problem is panic. If you panic and you're trying to read a question, you won't be able to understand the question. And that's the reason why I'm saying when you're going to go to your final exam, calm your nerve, calm down, and you know that you're going to pass the paper, but choose not to panic. So, meaning take your time in reading. And if you're not understanding something, take your time to properly read and read. Look at that. You are provided 10 minutes for reading time. All right. So you would browse. So when you take a question like this, an exam paper like this, you would browse and say, okay, first of all, I need to find out how many questions there are, right? Because most of the time, for students who are panicking, is that they will end up forgetting one question. Totally. It's like, have you ever been outside the exam and then you are like, your colleagues are talking about question 6, and you are like, what question 6? And your colleagues are like, oh, question 6, the last question. Oh, no, man, I didn't see it because you didn't even take time to say, okay, what? Let me check how many questions there are. So I see question 1, question 2. The worst feeling ever. I agree with you, Sierra. So go through the entire paper until the very end of the paper, and you can see, wow, okay, so question 5, I don't see any other question. It says end of the paper. So I know there are only 5 questions. So start there. And if there are 5 questions and it's 150, all right, 150 marks. So, and it's 3 hours. You can do a quick calculation. And guys, I told you when you are showing up for this class, please show up with a calculator, show up with, sorry, show up with a calculator, show up with a paper, right? So take your paper, take your calculator. I don't know if you guys are able to see my calculator. Can you just give me a thumb up if you can see my calculator, or am I only sharing OneNote?
I think you're only sharing your OneNote, sir.
All right, cool. All right, so guys, sorry about that. Let me just share the actual screen and not just the OneNote. All right, so you should be able now to see my calculator. Can you see it? So within that 10 minutes, you can be as quick as doing something like, all right, 150. You're gonna love numbers, right? You say 150 divided by 5 questions. So more or less, I should spend 30 minutes question. You can do that so that you know when you are doing the question, when, for example, you are on question 1 and you are exceeding the 30 minutes, you know that there is a problem. No, wait a minute. And so that's why you will check your timing all the time. You say, listen, by 15 minutes, I should be halfway. Do you see that? That will pace yourself so you won't panic, right? And let's say you are finishing a question at the 25th minute. So you have 5 more minutes extra that you've saved, which you will spend when you will attribute to the most difficult question you have come across, right? So guys, I hope that's clear, right? So I had to do this because I'm showing you that it has to be with, you have to go with some tactics, right? You have to have a clear strategy on how to write your paper, right? So time is important. So that is. So then you move, for example, let's start by question 1, right? So you look at question 1 and say, this is fairly easy. What am I seeing? What are, and guys, I want you to be active, right? This is a practice session. So you have your calculator, you have a paper, you will be doing calculations with me as we go, right? And you will be answering. So in your chat room, you can answer me quickly. So that I know that you are really preparing yourself for the final exam, right? All right. So the first thing that I will look at, obviously, this is a company, and they say that there is a division, debt collection division. I'm just browsing through it, right? So, but they provided me with this table. Aha, that's already should tell me something. When I see a table, right? So that should tell me something. Um, and it's debt collection, right? So one of the things that I've seen with some of you guys, you are not doing well when it's so if they provided you this information, right? When you have a schedule, clearly you have to do a schedule. Always concentrate on what is required. What am I requiring? Starts there. I need to do a schedule, and it's a receipt schedule, right? So I know that every month that they provided me is important. So there is no month that I need to neglect, right? So if they say, for example, I can see the table, it starts from August, right? So these from August to December, they are clear to me. So I can see the total sales from August to December. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I can see that they're providing me this information. They're saying that what is cash is 40%. What does that tell me? You can unmute yourself or you can write it in our, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
60% is on credit.
That's right. So you know that you're not going to waste time. You know that 60% is on credit. 40% is cash, 60% is on credit. Please don't ask me at this stage, how do you get the 60%? because that would not be fair, right? Okay, so you have data are expected to settle their account, and they give you a schedule. They say 1 month after the sale takes place, this is what is going to happen. You know the drill. Always have this in mind, is that I need to line up all the months. So if they provided me July, just check to see if there is a month that is hidden. And here you can see that July is hidden. So you will start with July downwards, because you have to collect July and etc. etc. But your target months, they tell you here, you are collecting for what? So you construct a schedule of receipt for what? For the last quarter. Or you know what the last quarter is. What is the last quarter? The last quarter of the year. What is it? It is the last 3 months of that year. Right? So you have 4 quarters, you know this, but I'm just saying, just for someone who's like, I don't know. Okay, until March, until June, until what is it, September, and the last quarter will be October, November, and December, right? So those will be your last quarter, right? So you know that this last quarter will be my target, because that's what they want to see. So you're not going to give me September. So here, what we want to see, it's going to be October, it's going to be November, and it's going to be December. That's all I want to see. If you're showing me September, I know already that this student has been wasting time, because that's not what they were asking you. They were asking you for the last quarter. So from July to August to September, October, November, and December. So what we need to find is that, is anything from July will be collected, here in the last quarter. Because remember, after July, 1 month after July, come here. Now you start really carefully looking at this. 1 month after July is what? August, right? August, September, yeah. October, all right, October, yeah. So there is 10% of July that will be collected in October. Do you see that? There is 15%. So if it's 10% is here, 15 will come here. Does that make sense? That's how quick you can move. That's how quick you can move. So when you go, for example, for August, right? What will be collected in August with regards to the sales that took place in, what will be collected in October? Remember, target month, first target month, October. What will be collected in October that has to do with August? Right? So the sales that took place in August. Because we know after August, we are here again. After August, we have September, October. So 20% will be collected in October. After 20%, you can even close your eyes, because you know after 20 is 10, after 10 is 15. Does that make sense? That's how quick you can move. All right? But remember, oh, I will do the last one. The last one I will do for September, just for the one who's like, don't get it, I don't get it. All right, okay, so September. So when we talk about the sales that took place in September, target month, October to December. We start always with October. What is of October that has to do with September sales? Because we know after September, the next month is going to be October. So 55% will be collected in October. And the rest is history. The rest is history. Why am I saying that? Because after 55, it's 20. After 20, it's 10. Do I need to put the 15? No. No, I don't, because it is outside the target months, right? Because you are only asked to construct a schedule of receipt for the last quarter. So you don't waste your time. So if I see a student who's already putting here, oh, right, by the way, this is January. Well, you're putting January here, I'm not going to mark it, right? I'm not being mean. It's just I'm saying don't waste time. And all this you've been practicing in your task and all that is so that you understand what you are doing. We want to see if the student understand what they're doing and they're not wasting time, right? So, and this will be it, right? You will see here the credit sales you have, because remember, cash, you know the cash, right? The cash sales, you know. The cash sales for October will be here. This is the cash sales, it's 40%, right? But the credit sales, because remember the credit sales, remember when we say by credit, we say we're going to collect it later. We are selling it to you now, but we're going to collect the money later, right? So you need to get the 60% first. I have seen people using this amount and starts to find the 10% of this amount. You see that you are already outside. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is, when you do, remember your target months, they are here: October, November, and December. The logic, you know, because you need just to find out from July, is there anything from July that I need to collect in these target months? That's the question you are asking yourself, right? So July, but you are collecting what? You are collecting the credit sales. You are not collecting the total sales. Oh, sorry. You are not collecting from the total sales, but you are collecting from the credit sales. Because the total sales is made up of cash and credit sales. Is everything clear, guys? And you will see the pattern here. You will see the pattern. After 10, it's 15. After 20, it's 10 and 15. Do you see that? There is a pattern that repeats itself because you were given a schedule, and the schedule is very orderly. In November, the only collection that I need to worry about is after November, I need to collect 55%. 55% of the credit sales. That's the only thing I should worry about. Because after November, 1 month after November, the sales takes place in November. The total sales is this amount. I just need to worry about 60% of that amount, which is my credit sales. Here is my credit sales. And I need to collect 55% of that credit sales. That's all. So now you have the logic. If you get a question on this, you're going to laugh because you are like, this is easy, right? And by the way, once you have your total collections, you will add them up together. Once you have your total collections for October, for November, and for December, you are just going to add the cash sales to it, and you will get your total sales. Easy peasy. Any questions on this, guys? And that's the logic, right? So already by looking at this question, you can see already, I see what I need to do. Let me move, all right? All right, so let's go now to question 2. When you go to question 2, you have these manufacturers, right? And they say that they have 5 machines. Oh, starting already to sound similar, right? 5 machines operating at a certain capacity. You know what I would start doing already? For me already, when I see that, because you need always to write things on your draft paper. And that's not bad. So on your question paper already, you start writing, okay, 5 machines, capacity. You know why we do this. You know this. You don't ask me the question now. Why are you writing this like this? You know that 85% is this, right? Okay, I'm just saying, right? Due to mechanical faults, right? So at 100% capacity, each machine can produce this. Wow. Yeah, so you can see already 50K is what they can produce, but they are only running at 85%, right? And it's 5 machines, right? And they say that assume 4 weeks in a month, guys. So you can see the total capacity per month, per machine. You are assuming 4 weeks per month, right? And then 65% of unit produced are sold during the month. Right, that's good. So I know when we are selling, we have a 65% unit. Sorry, that when we are producing, there is 65% that we are selling. So what, Patrick? That's good because this will help you not to miss something. And you spend your time properly reading that this total capacity they gave you, total production, was per month and not per week. Because if it was per week, you would multiply it by what?
Four.
By 4. Right. Cool. And then the rest is history, right? So you'll be provided, for example, what plastic used for the production of fans is 28 rand per meter, right? 28 rand per meter. I would write it like this. Each fan requires not a full meter. They only require what? 0.2 meters of plastic. So that's good. Whatever you're going to be writing here, you're going to need to multiply by the total production, right? But if you got this total production wrong, what is going to happen here is that whatever you are doing here will be wrong. Any questions on this? Does that make sense to you? And that's why you see this. You see, the first thing would be to find what is the total production. 50K multiplied by 5 multiplied by the capacity. Isn't it what you already wrote here on your paper before even you started the calculations in your exam book? You already saw whatever I need is this. You are just transposing this here. You see how quick you can move so that you are reading and you are taking note. You are reading and you are taking note. You don't read, you finish reading, now you are like, okay, now I'm about to start now. Now, what should I do? No. You read and you comprehend and you take action. On your paper, you are writing so as not to waste time. So now that you know this is your total fans, right? I trust you are calculating right now on your calculator right now. 50K multiplied by 5 multiplied by 0.5. I'm sure that you guys have done that already, right? So this amount that you have, this is the total amount of funds, right? But what is sold, you know also what is sold, right? You know what is sold, right? So now you need to calculate and categorize the monthly cost listed above into fixed and variable, right? Guys, you know that this works with the number of so anything that is going to move to increase with the total production, we call it a variable cost, you know. So this will be a variable cost. What is factory worker being paid 22 per unit would be? In the chat room, is it going to be VC or VF? Oh, is it going to be FC or VS? Sorry. Right. FC or VS? Guys, Pandekile, Telly, you are there. I need you in the chat there to move fast. As you can see, Sierra is really on point, okay? So it's VS. Why is it VS? Why is it a variable cost? Because it's going to increase with the number of production. If the total production goes down, it goes down. If it's the total production goes up, it goes up. Insurance cost is a fixed cost per month. So that's the reason why this is an example of a fixed cost. But they tell you that the factory, remember, you are dealing with a production. So meaning this amount is not the amount that you're going to give me. You need to give me this amount multiplied by 0.65 because the floor capacity of the factory is only 65%. Right? Carriage on sales costs something per the number of fans. Is it a fixed cost? Is it a variable cost? Is this amount, what we are asking you, is this amount going to increase or is it going to remain fixed? Perfect. Telly, Tandekile, I hope you guys are seeing, right? So it is very important that you prepare yourself for the exam. Rent. Rent is this amount. Rent is it. And this one, Telly, don't answer, please. Sorry, Ciara, don't answer. Telly and Tandekile, please, can you answer this one, number 5? Is it a fixed cost or is it a variable cost? It's a fixed cost. Wonderful. Like that. So already, just by reading this paper, you are providing the answers. You are not wasting time. The factory foreman, is it a fixed cost? Is it a variable cost? Tandekile and Telly. Come on, guys. All right. So, Tandekile, you are saying variable cost, but this amount here for the foreman, again, you need to go back to your practice. This amount per month is not going to increase or decrease with the production. It's going to stay like that. So that's an example again of a fixed cost. So guys, be careful. Pandekile, why is this dangerous? Because once you miss one of them, commissions, for example, is paid 5 per unit. Every time you will see 5 per unit, you know it's a variable cost, right? Depreciation on each machine is this amount. You know that this amount per annum is what? Is a fixed cost, right? Now, the problem is, look with your eyes. It says per annum. Is this production? The question you need to ask yourself, is this production pertaining to a month or pertaining to a year? And if it pertains to a, Telly says a year. Telly, check it up here. Check it up here. We are talking about the production of what? Of a month. Yeah. Right? Telly, I hope you saw that. That's very dangerous there. So if it's for a year, you know that to get for a month, you will need to divide by what? Perfect. There we go. You need to divide by 12. No, let's see. That's right, Sierra. So you will need to divide by 12 for the machine, and because you have 5 machines, and multiply it by, well done. Sierra, I really, really, to be honest with you, cannot expect less than a distinction. Right, guys? So if you have this, the rest is just basically transposing this onto your paper. You know you have already categorized your variable cost and you have categorized your fixed cost. All right? So the rest, it's easy. The rest is easy because what we want is to see that you have. So make sure you don't make a mistake when you are categorizing. For example, you guys have seen some of the mistakes you can make. You can lose some marks here because you provided me with this full amount per annum instead of per month, right? So be careful with that. Tandekile, be careful with the factory foreman. His salary per month, it's a fixed amount. His salary is not going to increase or decrease with the production. They pay him 17,500. That's all. That's what they pay him. So be careful. One wrong categorization could impact your final answer. And by the way, if there are other follow-up questions, it could also cost you a lot of marks, right? Now let's get to the real deal. How far are we? We are halfway. We are halfway, guys. Now we need to speed up, right? So I'm gonna keep the explanation as succinct as possible, right? And you have this question, and I would like you to guess what kind of question is this, because they're saying that they're producing four items, producing four items, A, B, C, and D, right? And you can see A, what they have done is they've provided you with the volume, they have provided with the direct, direct material. Your three musketeers are showing up here, right? So you have your direct material and direct labor. What is remaining? You know that what is remaining is your manufacturing overhead, the last element, right? But what they did is that they didn't provide you the manufacturing overhead. They provided you with machine hours per unit, direct labor hours per unit. What does that remind you of?
Job costing.
It reminds me of a particular activity. Sierra, what does this remind you of? It's like a cost driver, right? Sierra, I couldn't hear you. You unmuted yourself, but we couldn't hear anything. All right, so
Sorry, yes,
as
I
a
said for job costing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So you can see there is a cost driver here. The machine hours is driving the production. The direct labor is driving the production, and that makes sense because you have people working on machines. So you have the labor hours and you have also the machine hours, and that makes perfect sense, right? So overhead are allocated this way. Do you see how the overhead are allocated per machine? So the machinery department so overhead are allocated to product cost as follows. And you can see for the machine hours, you can see for the assembly department, which are what? With this assembly it's people. So we can assume that this is the labor hour, right? And there it is. Right. So everything you are doing, it should tap into what you have done. And guess what? Brilliantly, they have even provided you with the cost drivers. They say for the different activities that are taking place, machine services, service, assembly services. Guys, can you hear me, or is my internet playing? Because Tandekile cannot hear me. So, Tandekile, it could be a problem on your side also because Ciara can hear me good. All right, so guys, so see here. You have machine service, you have assembly services, you have setup costs, you have order processing, you have purchase orders. You don't need to memorize this or worry about this. Oh my goodness, all these costs. No. See, what they're saying is that this is the total budgeted overhead cost. And we take it as it is, right? The good thing is that they have provided me also with the budgeted quantity for the period. So I know if I take this one, the total, the setup cost divided by the number of setups, what I'm going to get is a rand amount per setup, a rand amount per customer order, a rand amount per supplier order, but just taking this amount and dividing it by the number of supplier order. As simple as that.